We are recording this, so thank you so much, everyone, again, for joining us today. We appreciate you, and thank you for attending UAGC. Today's information session with the City of Los Angeles Personnel Department will be starting right now. My name is Werner Petzold. I'm an employer outreach specialist for the University of Arizona Global Campus, and I work remotely here in San Diego, California. We are excited you could all join us today to learn more about the exciting career opportunities with the City of Los Angeles Personnel Department. Before I turn over the floor over to Janelle Hamilton and Nicole Bawa at the City of Los Angeles Personnel Department, I wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded, as you just heard. For all those who registered for today's information session, the recording will be emailed to you in a few days. At the end of the presentation, Janelle will take time to answer as many questions as she can. At the bottom of the screen is a Q&A button. You can submit questions with your name or anonymously to be answered live. We will do our best to get as many of the questions answered as we can. However, if your question is not answered by the end of the presentation, you can email it to Career Services, that's all one word, at uagc.edu. We will follow up with Janelle and Nicole to get any remaining questions answered. Also, feel free to engage in the chat. You can post questions in the chat, and members of the University of Arizona Global Campus Career Services team, as well as Nicole, will be available to help answer your questions during the presentation. If you have any technical difficulties, we recommend logging out of Zoom and logging back in. Now, I would like to introduce our guest employer today. Joining us is Janelle Hamilton, personnel analyst at the City of Los Angeles. Janelle began her city career in 2003. During her 19-year career with the City of Los Angeles, she gained work experience throughout multiple divisions of the Los Angeles Police Department, Department of Airports, and Personnel Department. Janelle's career has allowed her to obtain associate's and bachelor's degrees in criminal justice, in addition to graduate studies in public administration. As a civil and executive recruiter, Janelle takes pride in helping others along their paths towards fruitful employment that helps the community. Also joining us today, and you will have Nicole in the background, Nicole Bawa. She's a personnel analyst at the City of Los Angeles. Nicole began her career with the City of Los Angeles in 2015. Prior to her current position in recruitment, she gained most of her work experience in the selection division of the personnel department, applying her expertise in the field of industrial organization psychology. Her role as an exam analyst included performing specific technical research in a broad range of personnel selection activities, conducting detailed job analysis, and developing and administering selection tests for various job classifications. Her vast knowledge of various jobs, with her knowledge of various jobs, Nicole transitioned to civilian and executive recruitment. Nicole takes pride in her important role assisting with the development of recruitment processes and the selection of personnel, and is dedicated to helping others find their career paths and endless opportunities. Janelle and Nicole, we are excited to hear your presentation, and thank you for joining us today. Janelle, I will go ahead and turn it over to you and your presentation.
Thank you, Werner. Thank you to the University of Arizona Global Campus for having the City of Los Angeles today to give our students some information on how to find and apply for city jobs. I want to start by giving special recognition to any of our veteran students who are joining us today. We recognize you and thank you for your service to our country. With that, let me share screen and get started. We are going to throw tons of information at you very quickly. This presentation is being recorded, so you can go back and review the information at a later time if you need to refresh on something. My colleague Nicole Bawa is helping in the chat today. And I understand if you get a little distracted with maybe some World Cup action happening right now, there's a couple big games happening, but we are happy that you took this time to come to us and learn how to find and advance in your career with the City of Los Angeles. With that, let me start sharing screen and get started. Okay. Werner, can I get a yes if you can see the share screen properly?
Absolutely, we can see it.
Fantastic. All right. Today's agenda, we're going to go over the Personnel Department website, how to find and apply for jobs with the City of Los Angeles. We'll cover briefly public safety careers in case you're interested in law enforcement or the fire department. And we're going to be friends, hopefully on social media after this event, and answer some Q&A following this presentation. So to get started, let's talk about the website itself with the Personnel Department and the resources that are available there. Let's bookmark it. Personnel Department can be found at per.lacity.org. But my favorite bookmark, and the one that I use most often, which means you should use it most often as well, is tiny.cc/job central. This is a very important bookmark because I'll show you in a moment, a little later on how it filters out the job search function for you and makes your life a lot easier when you're looking for those job opportunities. And then we have hot jobs at tiny.cc/hot jobs. These are jobs that are just hot that we want to draw your attention to. So feel free to check that out after this presentation. First off, let's get started on the Personnel Department website. This is your landing page for the Personnel Department, per.lacity.org. Here you can find information about upcoming events, some employee resources. Once you're on the job, that will be available to you. But we want to draw your attention now to the jobs page. You can access the jobs homepage either from the top, selecting jobs and then job homepage, or the City Jobs button located just a little bit down on the homepage of Personnel Department. What this is going to do is take you to a landing site where you can link to all of the jobs that are available to you. You'll also find information on how to start your civil service career in 5 easy steps. We're going to go over those steps in a little while in addition to this. And also Job Match. And Job Match is where you can filter some civil service opportunities by your education, experience, or interest, and help you find some classifications that might be of interest to you. On the job homepage, you're going to find a ribbon. In addition, you can drop down from the top of the page as well to the job openings. This job openings page is where your tiny.cc/job central link will take you, and then auto filter for the jobs that are open to everyone to apply. But right now, I just want to let you know that you can always access it from the ribbon on the job homepage. We also have an entry-level position information page. This is very informational. If you're going in and you're trying to search for classifications that might be of interest to you, that might have something to do with your background or education, you can select by category, and then you can select the classification name to learn more about the brief description of duties that classification would perform, education requirements, if any, for that classification, a career ladder if one's available, and other pertinent information. Following that is the job analysis page. This page is chock full of information. It contains a competency bank listing 60 capabilities in 7 different categories or facets that our classifications must perform at various levels. We also have a breakdown of those competencies into 3 different levels, soft, medium, hard, if you shall say, or for example, if it was speaking about mathematics, maybe the first level is basic math, the second level would be an intermediate, and the third would be a more advanced, like calculus type math. It also gives you examples of behavioral indicators for each classification, such as how much sitting, walking, lifting, those classifications would be expected to utilize. And then there's the job analysis. The job analysis is prepared by a representative group of job experts, and it contains the task performed on the job. So accounting clerks' jobs would be much different than an administrative clerk in the sense that They're going to be doing some accounting type math and responsibilities. You'll also see some association with physical and mental activities associated with these tasks. On the next button is the class specifications. Here again, you can go in and look at all of the class specifications, and it defines the duties and responsibilities for the general position of that classification. These are civil service classifications that we're talking about right now. This differs from what we call a position description, which once you are invited to interview for a position with a department, you can request a copy of the position description, which would give detailed information broken down by percentages of how much time you'll be spending on performing specific tasks for that specific position. So let's take management assistant, for example. This is a classification that we hire many of, and the responsibilities are far and vast for management assistant. If you look at the classification specification. But if you look at the position description, it'll break down 50% of the time you're doing task A, 20% of the time you're doing task B, 10% of the time you're doing task C, that sort of thing. The position description, when you ask for it prior to your interview, gives you an idea as to how to answer some interview questions as well, because you can tailor your responses to the details and the tasks that that specific position will be utilizing. So that's a key note to take away from this presentation today. Following the class specifications are also career ladders. Not all classifications have career ladders. Typically, you can find them under the most basic classification or entry-level classification for the career ladder. So feel free to go in later on, click around a little while and take a look at career ladders so that you can plan your career with the City of Los Angeles and the promotability of the classification that interests you. But don't limit yourself to these career ladders. Don't forget that any outside experience or further education that you gain can allow you to move from one career ladder to another. I never thought I'd be doing the job I had right now, and I definitely skipped career ladders throughout my career. Also, through our civil service testing, we've now moved into a lot of online testing thanks to COVID, and this is great. It's fantastic either to do a multiple choice test or an interview through online means. So visit this online testing web page for more information about online testing, what to expect, and some helpful tips prior to and after your online test. Lastly, I'll draw your attention to the job resources page. On the City Job Resources page, not only is there information about civil service examinations, we also have tips on how to apply, which we will give you a few of those as we proceed, but also information on how to read job bulletins, and our Persons with Disabilities Career Guide, which gives you information on how to request a reasonable accommodation, both prior to applying for a city job and when you're asked to come in for an interview for a city position. Okay, that was the Personnel Department website, specifically the jobs pages. Very quickly, just to give you an overview of what to expect there and some resources to allow you to investigate your career opportunities and give you some information and some insight to some of our civil service classifications that might interest you. But now let's find and apply for those city jobs. Again, our bookmarks are tiny.cc/LA intern. Some of you are students and maybe you are not currently living in the Los Angeles area, but some of our internship opportunities right now are online. They are work remote. So you might find an internship opportunity that interests you, that allows you to work outside of the city. So take a look there. That link actually sends you to the same place as tiny.cc/jobcentral, but it limits to just internships. Again, tiny.cc/jobcentral. That's the bookmark I use all the time. So make sure you star that one on your own web browser. Okay, I've talked about internships and civil service a little bit. Let's understand the different job types that the City of Los Angeles offers. First are the internships. Internships are considered at will. Most of our internship opportunities are paid. They're typically part-time and have limited maximum hours per year you can work. Some internship opportunities are also programs where it's a specific time of program. Maybe it's a summer program, like with the library. You're only going to be have an internship for 3 months, let's say. Others are year round. We also have exempt and executive opportunities. Again, these are at-will positions, and a civil service examination for these types are not required. We also have what's called an emergency appointment. And an emergency appointment is a civil service classification for which we have no eligible list for our departments to hire from. So an emergency appointment is handled like an exempt job opportunity, but you can only hold the position for a maximum of 1 year, and you are considered at will at that time. You then have to apply once we're accepting applications for the civil service classification and basically be rehired to hold that job full-time as a civil service employee. Civil service is one of our jobs types that we hire many of. We have hundreds of civil service classifications and 50,000 employees. This is the one to have. You are not at will. You have an MOU and a whole bunch of rights as a civil service employee, but you must pass the civil service exams and be appointed from an eligible list in order to gain this status. And eligibility and hiring is based on a merit system and federal uniform guidelines on employee selection procedures to keep it as fair and equitable as possible. Okay, briefly again about those internships, as some people might be interested. From the job openings page, you can go to the filter and simply filter for intern. Keep an eye out for that, or for anything that might be a student worker. Sometimes our internship opportunities are classically named as student worker positions. So anything that says student worker, keep an eye. When you click the name include the contact information, the job description, and information on how to apply. They might ask for a city application. They might ask for a resume or a writing sample. It all just depends. They will lay out specifically what they want, whom to submit the information to, and the deadline to apply. In this example, you see a yellow attachment button in the right-hand corner. Sometimes you might see an application button there as well. If there's an attachment, they simply uploaded a PDF attachment for you to view. And if they're asking for a city application, most likely the button will be there for you to link to that application as well. Pay particular attention to the deadlines on this page. If internship opportunities posted on the personnel department website are limited, or there are none posted because departments don't have to list their opportunities with us, they might have their own dedicated website for their internship opportunities. We see this largely with our councilman office, mayor's office, and other larger departments. We do have a link at the bottom of the listing where you can click to find those other opportunities. Okay, exempt and emergency appointment opportunities. Exempt jobs are great jobs. They could be either part-time, they could be middle management, or they could be at the executive level. Exempt opportunities don't mean that they're not great, like I said. So definitely keep an eye out for exempt jobs that might interest you. They're one of the quickest ways to get employment with the city, though keep in mind that you are considered at will with those exempt positions. When we go to Job Central, it'll filter out these exempt opportunities, but you can also filter by department if there's a specific department that you wish to work for as well. It's the same thing as our internship opportunities. If we find one that interests us, we can just click the name of it and it will send us to a separate page with all the detailed information, again, with the position description, responsibilities, how to apply to whom and by when, just like we saw in the internship opportunities. Very simple. Civil service. This is where things get a little more complicated. Great things happen with civil service. Both Nicole Bawa and myself are civil service employees. We are here for, as long as our career takes us, up to 30 years or more. Some people, they retire out with many, many years of civil service, years behind them. And to begin this process, first you must submit an application online. You must participate in civil service exams. You're placed on an eligible list. Then you're invited to interview with the hiring department. And then hopefully you accept the job offer and you become a civil service employee with the City of Los Angeles. From the job openings page of the Personnel Department website, you can filter by civil service and then select the job title that interests you. These are all current civil service opportunities that are posted. Now, keep in mind, some opportunities may not be accepting an application right away. We'll cover that in a little bit on what to do. But if we see a job title that interests us, we can click the name of it for more information. And what's going to happen is instead of another web page on the Personnel Department website, it will actually transfer us to the government jobs website for the City of Los Angeles. We can note here at the top, it says jobs open to all. And that's how I know that I can apply for any of these positions as an outside candidate. You'll see a green apply button. You'll just simply click the button, sign in or create an account with government jobs to complete your online application. On this page as well is the full job bulletin for the civil service classification. We can see the salary, the duties, the minimum qualification, process and selection notes, application deadline, and any other pertinent information that the City of Los Angeles wants you to have. You must meet the minimum requirements or qualifications in order to submit your application. If you do not meet the minimum requirements, you will be disqualified for that civil service opportunity. But there might be an opportunity for you to apply even if you don't meet those minimum requirements. This is where those process notes come in handy. Please, please, please take time to peruse the process notes. For example, this is for accountant, which requires a 4-year degree and 24 semester or 36 quarter units in accounting. But if we look down to process note number 3, applicants who are within 1 semester or 1 quarter of obtaining their degrees can still apply for the position of accountant, but they cannot be appointed until they receive their degree. So if you're in your last semester and you're almost to that finish line for that 4-year degree, I can still submit my application and start going through that civil service process. And then when I have my degree, I can actually accept that job offer and be appointed as an accountant. You'll also see notes on how to submit your application. For example, process note number 2 wants you to specifically list the titles, number of units, and completion date of the courses taken in accounting for accountant on your online application. It's important that you do this. Also, it gives us information that we can upload proof of our degree, or we can wait for the personnel department to contact us later for that. If we upload the proof of qualifying degree and coursework with our online application, it can help expedite this process for us later. Further down in the job bulletin, you might find some additional notes. You might want to peruse these. Some of our classifications do limit you in how often you can apply. If we are holding an examination multiple times, you might see a limit on how often you can apply for the same classification. Let's say you applied for management assistant and we hold those civil service exams every year. For example, it might say that you are limited to taking this exam once every 365 days. In this example, you're limited in taking an exam 180 calendar days from the last time. Also in this example is a note of being 21 years of age or older. So this is likely a public safety example because typically in public safety, we do have minimum age requirements. In the job bulletin, you'll also see a section for the selection process. This gives you examples. It's not even an example, it's actually what's going to occur. The civil service exams that you will be expected to take and the weight of those exams that will qualify you and be placed on that eligible list. So in this example, there's a written test, which is qualifying. You either pass it or fail it. If you pass, you're asked to take a physical abilities test. If you pass that, they will look at your training and experience questionnaire, and that would be 100% of the weight of your score for the eligible list. Underneath that scale are a few paragraphs. Takes some time to read these paragraphs. It gives you some information on what to expect on the written test or any other test portion that may be specified here. You'll also likely find a link, or you can route yourself to that job analysis page we talked about briefly and select the classification to read more about the competencies that you would be expected in that classification. It'll give you examples as to what you should expect on a test. For example, an administrative clerk may have just basic math competencies expected, when an accounting clerk would have a little more advanced math expected. So that's where those job analyses really help you prepare and get an idea as to what you may be asked on one of these exams. Other selection process exams might include an advisory essay. It might include a performance test or an interview. Other competencies that are exams might be a technical interview, psychological evaluation, or a medical evaluation, depending on the classification you applied for. On the job bulletin, you're always going to find the application deadlines. We have 3 types of exams with the City of Los Angeles. Continuous exams, which means they're open for you to apply. However, we don't have a set deadline. We're just accepting applications until a sufficient number of applications are received. If you qualify for one of these classifications, I advise you to submit your application as soon as possible so that you don't miss out on your opportunity. We also have intermittent continuous exams. These are classifications in which we accept applications during finite periods of time, intermittently. For this example, we see here that there were 2 opportunities in 2022 to apply for a certain classification. If you miss one, you have to wait until the next application period. And then we have regular exams. And regular exams typically open on a Friday and close about 2 weeks later on a Thursday. So once the application deadline has passed, you've missed out on that opportunity and you must wait until we submit it again. It might be a year from then, it might be 2 years or more, depending on the classification and the city need. Let's say you were on the Job Central page, on the job openings page of Personnel Department, and you clicked a civil service classification. It routed you to the government jobs website, but there's no apply button. The Personnel Department told me that this job is open, but there's no way for me to apply. This is most likely because you have found an intermittent continuous exam. Again, it's going to show on the government jobs website, but you're in between the application filing periods. You have to wait till that next filing period to apply, but we don't want you to miss out on the opportunity. So what you will do in the menu, which is the top left-hand portion of the government jobs website, there's a hamburger. On the 3rd drop down, you'll find job information and notification for upcoming examinations. Go ahead and click that, and then search either by keyword or by the classification name if you remember it. Select the classification, and then hit the green subscribe button. You're going to submit your name and a valid email address. We advise you to use a personal email address, especially if you're within that last semester or year of graduating from school. We don't want you to miss out on receiving that email, because what's going to happen is when we're accepting applications for that classification, we will email you and remind you that you were interested in applying for a management assistant or whatever classification you submitted the request for, and that it is now time to apply. These email subscriptions are valid for 1 year, but you can always renew it, so you don't miss out. So if there's something that you are definitely interested in and you want to ensure that you don't miss an opportunity, subscribe for it. And you can subscribe for as many civil service classifications as you want. You are not limited. Okay, let's talk about resumes. A lot of times, especially for private sector, resumes are very, very important. They're important to us too. However, our online application for civil service exams is a little more important. So what you're going to do when you submit an online application for civil service is you are going to be routed through different sections of the online application. Make sure you complete each section completely and accurately. The info section will just be your basic information about yourself, your name, your address, contact information, all of that. Then you'll have a work history section. This is where you're going to want to copy your resume, if not go into a little more detail, and submit each work history that you've had. In this example, there were 10 entries. Pay particular attention to the minimum requirements of the job bulletin that you're applying for. If it's requesting specific information, doing specific functions, you want to make sure that it is very clear that you perform those functions in the work history section of your online application. Same thing with the education section. Make sure it's accurate and complete. If a job bulletin is saying that you must have a degree in accounting, make sure it's very clear that you have your degree in accounting. Sometimes you'll see or other related fields as an example for a 4-year degree. Just make sure that it is related. And if you have any questions, you can always contact the personnel department ahead of time to see if they consider your field a related field to those others that are listed in the job requirements. So on the attachment section, when you get there, this is where you'll have an opportunity to upload your resume. The main point and takeaway of this slide is that please, please, please do not just upload your resume and consider your application complete. I went through all of that explanation to point out to you how important it is to complete each section of the online application. If you submit just your resume, your application will be considered incomplete and you'll disqualify yourself. I don't want that to happen to you. So you may attach a resume, but please make sure you complete each section of the online application if you do so. All right, you just went through a lot. You've now went in, you've researched the classifications, you found some civil service jobs that interest you, you waited for that online application filing time, you went into government jobs, you signed in, you submitted your online application. Now you want to know, how long will it take to get hired? And hiring times vary. For internships, it might be 1 to 3 months. It might be 2 weeks to several months, depending on the type of internship program that you're applying for. For exempt and executive opportunities, you're looking at about 1 to 3 months. Emergency appointments, again, about 1 to 3 months. But remember, that's only for 1 year. Then it's followed by that entire civil service process to remain in that position full time. And then you're looking at the civil service opportunities. And this is about 6 months for us to establish an eligible list from the time that you submitted your online application. up to 2 years after that. So I've submitted my online application. I've gone through the whole civil service exam process, and my eligible list has now been established. I get an email telling me my wonderful score. Maybe I did great. I scored a 90. I might get hired quicker because I'm at the top of the list. If you didn't do as great, maybe you scored a 75 or an 80, it might take a little longer to be hired. That's because the hiring departments have to interview off the top of the list. We give them, the top names first. So the better you score, the quicker you might be hired. Most eligible lists are valid for 2 years, though this does vary depending on classification. And you can visit the Personnel Department jobs page and find the eligible list there to know when your eligible list will expire. All right, let's stack your odds though. Let's get you hired and get you working. Stacking your odds is a great way to get employed quicker and to give yourself as many opportunities as possible. I always say put as many fishing lines in the water as possible, because getting hired with the city of Los Angeles is more difficult than if you've already been hired and you want to promote or transfer and move into that dream career. So you may hold an exempt or emergency appointment while applying for civil service classifications. You can also apply for multiple service classifications at one time. It's not a problem. As long as you qualify and meet the minimum requirements for it, apply. Let's stack your odds. Now, I know you all maybe have a dream career that you're like, I want to work at City Hall. It's my ideal career to be a project coordinator and working in City Hall. But maybe your career route needs to get you there. Maybe you come in as a management assistant with Rec and Parks, for example. And management assistant is a great entry-level position that only requires a 4-year degree, and we don't even care what it's in. So any 4-year degree would qualify you. And the great thing is we hire a lot of management assistants. So I get hired in as a management assistant. This gives me the ability to apply for promotions. And maybe I promote as a management analyst into the personnel department. Then my eye finds a field deputy position with a councilman's office. And that's an exempt opportunity. I can leave civil service and go and take up this exempt job. That's not a problem. But because I already held civil service already, I can apply for other civil service promotion opportunities. And maybe the city clerk's office is now hiring project coordinator, and I get hired there. So you can see how your career can move from civil service to exempt and back again, or maybe you start off as exempt and move into civil service, and how you might move from various departments, even to councilman offices or the mayor's office, for example, and back again, and various sections within those departments. In my 19 years with the city, I've been with 3 different departments and about 11 different sections within those 3 departments. So a lot of movement. It's totally normal to move every 2 to 4 years within the city. All right, for those that are interested in public safety, quite quickly, Personnel Department Public Safety Division has a page at per.lacity.org/about/PSD. This is where you're going to find information about the Los Angeles Police Department, the Airport Police, Port Police, and the Los Angeles Fire Department. Join LAPD and Join LAFD have their own websites. The information is quite detailed there on how to find and apply for those positions. Feel free to check them out if you're interested in our sworn opportunities. Lastly, let's talk about some benefits of working with the City of Los Angeles. We have employee resources, which we saw on the job homepage, the link there to the resources page. We also have employee health benefits, MOUs that back our civil service classifications, and what might interest most of you is the federal student aid public service loan forgiveness. Yay, forgiving loans is always great. Again, Special thanks out to our veteran students. We have some benefits that you might be interested in. If you are applying for a civil service classification, you can receive 5 military credits added to your eligible score if you were honorably discharged in the last 5 years or have a military service connected disability. And you can always increase your final pension calculation by doing retirement buyback of your service credits from your military service. Again, employee resources, visit that for more information about engagement and training of our employees, health and safety, and other benefits of being an employee with the City of Los Angeles. Lastly, health is a major concern to all. On top of your salary of your classification, you can enjoy wellness benefits, including medical, dental, life insurance, for you and your family. We have a wellness program, other commute incentives, as well as pension and deferred compensation benefits. So a lot of great things happening for you as an employee with the City of Los Angeles. In addition, federal loan forgiveness. Woo! We are a local government, and if you work for us full-time and you have direct loans, and you are repaying those loans under an income-driven repayment plan, you make 120 qualifying payments, your loans could be forgiven. So this is great information if you are going through school and are accumulating some loans. Another great reason why to become a public servant and to hopefully have some loan forgiveness opportunities for you. And if you've enjoyed this presentation, if you've forgotten everything I just said, and you just want to reach out to us and maybe be our friend, we'd like to invite you to connect with us on social media. We are available on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn at City LA Jobs. It is me and my team, the recruitment team of personnel department, that answer you there. So if you have any questions that we are unable to answer today, or you come up with them later, it's not a problem. Find us there. You'll find links to all of these pages I just talked about as well. So please, please, please visit us there. We look forward to being your friend on social media. All right. Whew. That was a lot. That was a lot of information, you guys. If you stuck with us and you didn't get distracted by the World Cup, good job. Kudos to you. We want to make sure you are well informed today.
It was awesome information, Janelle. It was so very informative. We learned so much, so many things. It's just wonderful. I did want to let you know there's a couple of questions here in the Q&A now. There's a couple more coming in. So if you don't mind, can I share some of those with you?
Yes, let's do it.
Great. So the first one is a question here that says, what kind of projects do interns and entry-level positions get involved in? And then the follow-on with that would be, what is the ratio of interns who become offered full-time roles?
That's a great question. Unfortunately, I probably don't have a great answer for you. We have over 40 departments with the City of Los Angeles, and that does not include our elected official offices. So the roles of interns can vary greatly. I think right now there is an opportunity for internship with our retirement leasers. They handle the civil service, basically retirement for most of the city, minus DWP. So they'd be doing a lot of accounting type stuff, things that are related to retirement, which will be completely different if you're an intern working with our information technology agency, which is doing all of our IT work and computer programming and things like that. So what you would really need to do is really focus on what you're studying and finding that internship that yells out to you. I mean, the mayor's office has a whole bunch of different programs that if you're into public policy and things like that, you'll be working on projects alongside mayoral aides and people in the mayor's office. So it can vary greatly. Talking about the translation of interns to full-time, again, I can't really give you that answer. Our hiring process isn't classified, but it kind of depends on the people, right? You could come in and say, I think I really want this job. This is the career path that I want. And maybe you come in as an intern and you're like, you know what? This isn't really talking to me. this is what I thought I wanted, but it isn't. And maybe you go a whole different route. Maybe you go private sector, or maybe you find a opportunity maybe with the state or the feds. I mean, that's possible, right? It really just depends on the person. Maybe it wasn't your niche. Maybe you went in and got an internship with one department, but then your eye got caught somewhere else.
Sure.
And who knows, maybe they applied for an exempt position and civil service isn't interesting to them after all. I don't have an answer to you, but it is great to come in as an intern because you get to see what people are doing.
Right.
And you get work experience with the city that you can speak about in your interviews. You meet people, get to rub elbows with a wide variety of people. Again, these people might be on your interview panel. That doesn't hurt. So definitely take an idea and apply for some of those internship opportunities.
To this next person's point, Janelle, and I agree with this person, there are just so many opportunities. I mean, it's just an amazing amount of opportunities at the city of Los Angeles. That's so great. So the question here from this person is, what advice would you give on networking with these departments and recruiters when interested in a role?
Yeah, you got to see it to know it. I never thought 19, almost 20 years ago, I'd be doing this job.
Wow.
That I'm doing now. And I could probably say that about every job along the way.
Sure, absolutely.
The advice is to find a job that might interest you to come in, knowing that it's not the end all. You come into the city of Los Angeles with wide eyes, wanting to learn, and you get that position and you take a look around you. What's that person doing? What is this section over here? What is that? And talk to your supervisor. There could be some cross-training opportunities that allow you to not only do the job that you were hired to, but learn about other sanctions of the city.
Sure.
Rub those elbows. And yeah, there's always transfer. The hardest thing is to get in. Once you're in, you're in. You can transfer from section to section within a department. You can transfer from department to another department completely. You might just be put on loan. There's always that opportunity to talk about loans. So you're holding a permanent position with one, but maybe, I want to go on loan for 3 to 6 months over here to learn another job. Some departments are very open to that. And that gives you that work experience to put on your resume and your application for another promotion opportunity. Or like I said before, you might change career paths completely. And it really varies on the person. I was a senior admin clerk for, 14, 15 years, a long time.
Wow.
But I did a multitude of jobs under that classification. And I did jobs that were above my pay grade too. And I got acting pay and things like that. And it really just depends on the person. When you're ready to promote, that's when you're ready, right? When you're ready to move on to something else, that's when you're ready to do it. It's so great. You're not stuck. And it's not like private sector where I'm in this job and, I can't really move, or I don't have the time to go and explore something else that might benefit me and my career growth. There's just so much. That's why the city of Los Angeles is so great. Come work for us. Come on over.
I was amazed when I saw in Handshake that, of course, you posted when we had your personnel department in there, over 35,000 employees at the city of Los Angeles. 35,000.
Yeah, we have a few.
That's amazing. That is
just
amazing.
A small employer.
Yeah, so opportunities flourish in the city of Los Angeles, and you can't beat the weather in Los Angeles as well, right? It's always
no, you cannot.
Well, I wanted to post one of these slides that we didn't do last time, so I'm going to go ahead and share that now and just kind of wrap this up here. But we absolutely appreciate both you and Nicole being here today. So I'm going to go ahead and post it. Can you see that? Can you see the slide? Does it allow you? You don't see it.
I don't see it, but maybe other people
you
do.
pretty much covered it anyway, and you posted it in the end, so no problem. So I wanted to go ahead and again, thank you so much for that informative presentation. And then we already went over some of those things. So I can see right now we're at 12:50. I don't know if Nicole has anything else in the chat that she wants to address, but I think she's been typing up and answering a lot of the questions as we've been going. So again, just a wonderful presentation. We're just so thrilled to be here to support you and to let all of our students and graduates know about the city of Los Angeles, because again, such wonderful opportunity. It's just a great thing, and we are so happy to have you here today. So if you want to connect with the city of Los Angeles Personnel Department and other organizations that are actively hiring for full-time positions and internships, we want to remind everybody to please log into Handshake through your student portal. We recommend checking Handshake and UAGC Connect regularly for more career services events. We have them monthly, and please check regularly. In a few days, you will receive a follow-up email with a link to this recording and information about the City of Los Angeles Personnel Department. If you have any questions for the University of Arizona Global Campus Career Services on your resume, cover letter, and job search, please email career services, that's all one word, at uagc.edu, or log into Handshake through your student portal to explore more resources. Again, many thanks to Janelle and Nicole at the City of Los Angeles Personnel Department for joining us today. It was such an amazing presentation. We absolutely appreciate you. And many thanks to all of you, our students and graduates, for attending UAGC. We look forward to seeing you at future information sessions. And I want to just wish everybody a happy holiday season. And thank you so much again, and have a great day. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.